What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Terrence, the news reporter, providing you all with news you can use and the latest trending topics. But before we hop into the latest trending topics, I want to give a moment of silence for George Floyd as he was recently laid to rest. Also, shout out to Texas Southern for giving his 6-year-old daughter a full ride scholarship once she graduates high school. So, Texas Southern, shout out to you for being part of the movement. Okay, so let's hop right into our trending topics. So NASCAR officially banned Confederate flags from all races and events, and this comes apart after the only black driver named Bubba Wallace challenged NASCAR to adjust some of the rules and to stop Confederate flags from coming to the events, as it can be really offensive to some of the fans. So NASCAR stepped up to the plate, answered his call, and banned all Confederate flags. So NASCAR, shout out to you. So Drew Brees was recently in the headlines for a statement saying that he stands with no one who disrespects the American flag or our country. So in a sense, he was kind of saying that the American flag matters more than Black Lives Matter. Drew, come on, man. Like, no. We never expect Drew to say something like this because as a black culture, we kind of look at Drew as like one of those white friends that we consider black. The next day, he immediately apologized, but that still wasn't enough. And Shannon Sharpe ripped him a new one, man. So after Shannon Sharpe ripped Drew Brees a new one, Drew Brees actually reached out to Shannon Sharpe to apologize, to talk to him, let him hear where he was coming from. So Shannon Sharpe listened, and Shannon Sharpe actually talked about it on one of his recent shows, and he said that basically Drew, felt he was wrong. He knew he was wrong, but he accepted Drew's apology because he felt it was so sincere. And Drew asked him what could he do, and Shannon basically told him to stop apologizing, that people either will accept your apology or they won't accept your apology, but he accepts his apology. Now, while we're on the topic of the NFL, I just want to give a quick mention that the NFL commissioner recently put out a video saying that they were wrong and that they stand behind their players protesting and that they stand with Black Lives Matter. Now, watching this video, I do feel like it just wasn't genuine. I feel like they did it just because they had to, because everyone else is putting out press releases regarding Black Lives Matter. Not once in that video did you hear the NFL commissioner say Colin Kaepernick. Several years ago, they could have stood with Colin Kaepernick, but they chose not to. And in this video, they could say, we were wrong. We could have stood with Colin Kaepernick, but they didn't. You never heard Colin Kaepernick come out of the commissioner's mouth. So I just feel like this video, it wasn't really genuine. I feel like they just did it just because they had to. So the link is in the description box. You all can watch it for yourself and you can decipher it. Now, moving on to our next topic, which is Clemson football and Dabo Swinney and his coaching staff. Now, one of the former walk-on players recently tweeted saying that Dabo allowed his coaching staff to call one of the players the N-word without repercussions. Now, that really wasn't the case. Now, it was more to the story behind what this person had tweeted. What actually really had happened was one of the former tight ends had got into it with another player, and the coach basically hopped in and repeated what the player had said. So he didn't really necessarily call that player the N-word. He didn't direct it towards him. He didn't say like, you N-word, like you this. He didn't really direct it towards him. He just really repeated the phrase. Now, that happened 3 years ago. Now, that assistant coach did apologize to that player the whole season because he said he knew he was wrong. The player actually, the player and the coaching staff both gave their own sides of the story, and they both matched 100% completely. Now, there's no word whether or not that coach was disciplined by Dabo, but he did say in a recent statement that if any of his coaches on his coaching staff uses the N-word, they will be fired. So let's move on from sports to entertainment news, and let's talk about Akon and 6ix9ine. So you could recently see them two collaborating, doing a Locked Up Remix Part 2, and that didn't sit well with Tory Lanez as he commented on the video saying, wait, what? You gave the remix to someone else and not me? Which I do agree with Tory Lanez because Tory Lanez remixes are fire. But anyways, so Spectacular commented on Tory Lanez's post saying, bro, why don't you just steal those songs like you did our songs with Grind on Me, and I forgot what other song he said it was. And Tory Lanez was like, bro, what? Shut the hell up, man. Like, I legally bought these rights to this music from whoever owns your music. Guess you was a part of this. And Tory Lanez actually showed images of receipts. So he put Spectacular in his place, and Spectacular basically went below the belt and started coming for Tory Lanez's hairline, basically saying he was smarter than Tory Lanez, saying he had a master's degree. So he was just basically trying to hit below the belt, I guess because Tory Lanez put him in his place. So, Spectacular, have several seats, sir. You wouldn't have got put in your place if you never say anything in the first place. Plus, I don't believe Tory Lanez would steal your music illegally and make multiple hit after hit. Plus, he had images of the receipts. He had copies of the receipts. So, you can't really forge that stuff. So, moving on to some breaking news about Coachella 2020. Unfortunately, it's been canceled this year due to COVID-19. Organizers say that they fear COVID-19 could worsen once the fall comes around. So, they don't want to take any chances and rather be safe than sorry and just cancel it for the whole year. Man, I am disappointed because I've never been and I thought this year could be my year. But also, Coachella is a headliner every year, so dang guys, I'm sorry I had to break this news to you, but Coachella has been officially canceled. And for our final topic of the day, we're going to talk about BSimone and her comment where she said she would never date a man who has a 9-to-5. She wants someone who's an entrepreneur just like her so they can really understand her lifestyle and think just like her. BSimone, for someone who has an entrepreneur mindset, you know, entrepreneurs aren't supposed to think narrow-minded. Like, you're thinking very small. That comment you just made is extremely ignorant. You know, a lot of people use their 9-to-5 to build their side business, to fund their side business, then eventually leave their 9-to-5 and make their side business their full-time job and become a full-time entrepreneur. You know, maybe you should change your mindset. There's a lot of great men who work 9-to-5. That thinking rate that you just have right there is very ignorant. That is very narrow-minded, and that's not an entrepreneur mindset. So maybe you should have a seat with Spectacular and y'all two can get together because basically y'all both are putting y'all foots in your mouth this week. So y'all two are great for each other. I'm gonna hook y'all up. Alright guys, that is all the time I have for today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And make sure that bell in the corner to get notified of my videos published. Until next time, I'm gonna catch y'all later.